Welcome to the Temple of Flame. On today, faithful acolytes, we take a look at this. And what this is from Volcanic Peppers, which is in Nebraska, which of course is well known for corn. We have the Corny Chipotle. And I thought, hey, what a brilliant idea for a sauce. This is a really cool idea. And, you know, like the Mexican street corn craze, you can see it's referenced here, is everywhere. Like, we'll get into that in a second, but it is a phenomenon that is quite pronounced, I would say. They're calling this medium heat. Shake well. Okay, so how? This is like a sludgy paste. Shake well, huh? Good luck. All right, let's take a look here. It almost should have come in a tube rather than a bottle, I think. So we have roasted corn. We have smoked red jalapeno, or the chipotle peppers, if you will. Lime juice, vinegar, water, garlic, butter, salt, sugar, fresh cilantro, spices, and xanthan gum. So with xanthan gum and how thick this is, I don't know that you really should need to shake it well. Or I guess maybe if you even can shake it well. See, it's got a very sort of pretty Cornish, if you will, looking vibe. But you can see there, I've had to deal with this for as much of this as I've had. And honestly, I find that a little frustrating. But look at this. This is how it flows. So, shake well. This is an extremely thick sauce. Do you want to go back down? No. How about if there we go. Concept, I love it. I do. I like this, a really cool idea. Now, concept-wise, we can all think of a lot of concepts. See, it still isn't wanting to smooth out completely. We can think of a lot of concepts that we're like, hey, that's a really cool idea. And you start putting the idea into practice. And it moves from, whoa, what a really cool idea, to execution, which is delivering on the promise, on the potential of that great idea. And that's where stuff, for me, much of the time, falls down. So it's this very light tan, sort of beigeish coloration here. You can see there is some very delicate flecks of red in amongst there. It smells more like, I mean, it does kind of smell like street corn, I guess, in a way. I made sweet corn myself I made street corn, street with a T, corn myself numerous times. 2 T's, I guess, actually. And so this is certainly a flavor I'm familiar with. You see it in snacks a lot. And in a later part of the video, we'll get to another element of just how captivated people seemingly are by street corn. But for now, let's get into the flavor. It's very grainy. There's certainly a street corn-ish vibe to it. We have some fairly intensive garlic flavors here as well. So to me, I think trying to add stuff like lime and some of these other flavors in here, I get that you're trying to do street corn in a bottle. I understand that. I don't think that works. I don't think that that is really, like, why would you do that? Street corn is a combination of flavors, but they also are timed differently depending on what they hit your palate once you bite into the actual food itself. And the ratios are a lot different. Trying to just meld it all into one amalgamated sort of flavor is... Let me back up. The concept I liked here was the idea of corn and chipotle together. Sweet corn and chipotle together in a sauce. I thought that has potential. Roasted corn with chipotle, you know, maybe some vinegar and salt and water and stuff, and then leave it there. You know, like when I make mine, I have a seasoning sort of ratio mix I like to use, and then I put a little queso on it. Obviously, there's no cheese in this, but this one, you know, you see some of the variations of street corn. Some are better than others, and this one uses a lot of stuff. I don't think I've ever used butter when I made street corn. I don't even think I've ever seen butter when I've bought street corn. It seems a little odd to me to have that in there. And there's just a lot of stuff going in here, and it's all competing for attention, and it just doesn't sort of work as one unifying flavor for me anyway. It is just kind of, like, I love the concept of this. I think this is a really cool idea. I still think that the idea itself, chipotle with corn, is a very sound one, because you have the sort of smokiness. You've got relatively low heat, but you've got the great flavor of red jalapenos or Fresnos, in my case, when I can find that sort of thing. And it's there, right? The idea is sound, but not when you just try to throw everything else in. So if you said, hey, I want to bottle a sauce that's Mexican street corn, to me that is less of a good idea than roasted corn or chipotle. But it is very unique. I don't know that I have seen a lot of other corn hot sauces. I don't think I've ever seen corn used as an ingredient before. So certainly there is a uniqueness factor to this as well. But as far as the sauce, it just doesn't... I've used it on a number of things, and to me it's always jarring. And I think part of that has to do with you think about street corn, it's meant to be by itself, right? It's meant to be one dish. It's not meant to, let me get some street corn and then put it on a chicken strip or a taco or something like that. And I've tried this on a fairly wide variety of different foods, none of which, though, by the way, will be in this video, and I'll show you that shortly here. And it just... You start to get flavor cancellation and stuff like that, and it just not quite what I hoped for, I guess. And I didn't really know what to expect, but it just, above all, I want a sauce that tastes good and will add to the stuff I'm using it on, and this one fails a bit in those regards. So, what foods are we having? I hear you asking. Well, I thought, okay, this is a natural cream corn. What if we made a Mexican street corn style cream corn? Now so when I was buying this, there's way more corns on the shelf than I knew existed, including several that were Mexican street corn style. So you can just have a dish of it. Again, I don't think that is something I would actually want, because once you can, you lose, to me, a lot of the tactile sensation of a roasted corn, right? Because you put it in a can and you put it on a shelf, and it's got a lot of stuff done to it to make it be preserved. I think in that respect, going with a frozen corn would probably work out better. So something I rarely use, I got a can opener here, and this can opener I've had for, probably right around a decade. I love this thing. It's got this really good, it's like nice steel here. It's got this really good bottle opener on it. And here's my favorite part. It actually will cut all the way through. Like a lot of the can openers in the past I've had to bin because they just, actually one of them, the one that preceded this, entirely fell apart. But this is easy to turn. It's very slick. Probably need to consider throwing this in the dishwasher at some point. But I rarely ever use it anymore. So, all right. So we'll just throw that in the bowl. Looks like the lid stayed on just a tick here. That's just fine. Okay, so there we have a bowl of creamed corn. And obviously it is not warmed up, and I don't like creamed corn at room temperature. So I'm gonna go warm it up, and we will be right back. Okay, and we are back, and we've got this nicely warmed up creamed corn. I never eat this a lot. This particular one is a lot more pulverized corn and cream than chunks of corn, which is fine, I guess. I rarely ever get this. Occasionally I'll have it with, usually the only thing I put in here is salt and pepper. So this one is corn, starch, sugar. That's what they're using to cream it. I didn't used to like this when I was a kid. I liked the actual texture of the other stuff, but this is one of the foods that I had as an adult, and I was like, I could do something with this. So what we're going to try to do, obviously there's no spice to this particularly at all, so we're just going to throw this in here until we get something that's interesting. So these spoons are about a tablespoon, give or take. They're not precisely, but they're pretty close. And I probably threw a little bit more than a tablespoon in there, maybe a tablespoon and some change. So it's definitely changing the color here. I don't know if they'll pick it up, but it's changing it from this bright yellow to this sort of more like a sunflower yellow, I guess. Well, it definitely changed the dynamic here. There's just too much garlic in that. It's too much garlic and it's too far forward. So, like corn, I don't think is a super, like it's a very distinct taste. I don't think it's a particularly strong taste. And so this one is, the garlic is just running roughshod all over everything, and it's unfortunate because to me the stars of this need to be if you're gonna name it corn chipotle, like I feel like those need to be the dominant flavors. And it's not, I'm not picking on Volcanic here. I gripe about this with every single hot sauce that I have. If you're going to name something, you're setting expectations, right? And I feel like not to live up to that at even a basic sort of level is like, why are you naming it that then? Like we see on YouTube, I don't do this. You never see this on the FOH series. I never do this. I never get into clickbait because I hate it, and I feel like it is the bane. Not the bane. One of the banes. YouTube's got problems. It is one of the banes of videos on this platform. So I don't do that. You can see exactly what you're getting. If you go to the description, like I'm not trying to disguise anything. I don't want to trick you into watching, a video for 20 minutes to find out if I ever get to the goddamn point. Like, I refuse to do that. And if it costs me clicks and stuff like that, fine. Right? Like, some things are more important than popularity. Integrity is more important than popularity by a lot, in my view. I hate that bullshit. There's no way I'm going to do it. It will not happen. So, but I feel like that is somewhat of the point of stuff like this, right? This one is not as egregious. There's other sauces I've had where they've named it things, and those flavors are buried. And I always call it out when I come across it. This one, one component is just a little bit too strong. And like, maybe you make the batch and you're like, oh, fuck it, I got to, now I got to bottle it and put it out there. I feel like that is the case sometimes with some of these sauces. I'm not saying that is specifically here. I don't know. I'm not part of the process. I've never, but I could see them not wanting to waste an entire batch of it. Like, I get it. Just for me, and maybe some of the other ones are different, this one, it just, having one component overshadow the other two that the sauce is named after, to me, is not great. Oh, this. I didn't show you this, did I? So I've got noodles, right? Got ramen noodles. We've got the Samyang Buldak corn noodles, right? And usually most of these ramens, like the Buldaks in particular, are meant to be standalones. They're not meant for you to add stuff to them. There is, by the way, a review of this specific product in the spicy noodles list. I did it quite some time ago, closer to when the series launched, in fact. But so, and I bought a 5-pack of these. I don't really need to get a baseline, but I'm going to anyway for the sake of continuity. This is one of the milder ones, and if you need a good introduction into the Buldak trend or fad or whatever you want to call it, this is a good one to jump on. All right, so we're going to throw some of this in here. Buldak is a very strong taste. Buldak is already overshadowing the corn. So what happens if we throw some of this sauce in there? I'm just seeing what it's going to do. I would not normally add hot sauce to Buldak. There'd be no real point to it. Let's give it a go and see what we have. Well, it did add more corn flavor. This sauce is actually strong enough to hold up against the Buldak, which is fascinating. I don't think it works here super well, but not to be too much like a little kid playing with his food, but let's throw some actual cream corn in there. Let's throw some corn in the corn ramen. See what we get. Whoa, that was really interesting. I wasn't expecting that. Interesting. I don't think that you should use this flavoring system with these noodles. But I do like that extra little bit of crunch to stuff. Texturally and flavor-wise, that actually is not bad. This one over here off camera. This one is the cream corn. We're still not done with that. We're still not done playing with food. For certain other videos in the past, I have gotten these sweet corn tamales. And I was going to get that again for this, because I thought that would be really, really interesting. So after driving around to a few grocery stores, I discovered that those sweet corn tamales apparently don't exist anymore. And they were expensive. It was like $6 a throw for a couple of them. You can check those out in some of the other content in the hot sauce playlist, where I enjoyed those very thoroughly with different sauces. And I thought it'd be really kind of interesting to pair those to see how that would go. Because I'm starting with a really good food product on its own. And then if the sauce is really good, it can enhance it. But I wouldn't necessarily say this is a really good sauce, but it would have been interesting to me experimentally. But, and here's the but that you know is coming. Like I said, they were gone. I couldn't find any. So, after poking around some with the other tamales, I thought I was planning on doing cream corn for this anyway. And the corn ramen I just actually happened to see. I wasn't planning on that. Usually I plan out videos shortly after opening the bottles because I'm like, what do I want to film with this? And a lot of the times it'll come right away. Sometimes it takes a while. Mostly it comes right away. And I thought, okay, so the sweet corn tamales are gone. I can't get those anymore. What if I tried to make one of those? So we've already got the sauced up cream corn, and no, I'm not going to dump this on the tamale. But the tamales I found, the only one I hadn't done yet, that I hadn't seen, and I thought might be kind of interesting, was this chicken and cheese one. And I thought, cheese and tamales is something you don't see a lot of, usually. And I thought, oh, that might be kind of interesting. So, you can see what we're doing here is we're putting a bed of this corn. Then we're going to take this, maybe, chicken and cheese tamale and lay it on the bed of corn, okay? And then let's throw this sauce on top and just see. Do I think this is going to approximate those? No. Oh, no. Hell no. I know very well it will not. Will it be interesting? Will it be an adventure? Yes. You know, we're all about... This is one of the few videos where a lot of this experimentation you're seeing here, I do off camera when I'm trying to get a feel for the sauce. Huh. You know, that is surprisingly not bad. This is actually the best thing I've had in this video so far with this sauce. Get some of this corn. That is, wow. It's not amazing, and it's a real far cry from that sweet corn tamale. It is overall quite good, though. Mm-hmm. That little bit of cheese might have been the missing note. You know, with that. Wow. Way, way better than I thought it would be. But again, you know, like I said at the top, right? Sometimes you conceive of stuff and in actual practice, it doesn't work. This one works in a way I didn't really expect it to. And I'm sure a lot of food purists are just shaking their heads, forming some unflattering opinions about me, but that was So if this would have had actual more whole pieces of corn in it, and maybe that's what I need to do from this point is just buy a can of regular corn with this shattered nonsense and just mix them together. But had that been the case, that would have been pretty dynamite. As it was, it really, so the chicken and cheese they're not super strong flavored. In fact, the chicken could probably not have even been there. But the masa, together with this, together with the cheese accent in there, together with that cream corn that we doctored up, those things together were just really, they all came together in a really, really, I think pretty nice way. Pretty phenomenal. Well, I mean, maybe not phenomenal, but I don't want to overstate it, but a pretty nice way overall. That in fact, so this is, I see we're down there quite a bit now in this video, but that is easily, that right there was easily the best thing I've had this sauce with. And maybe that's kind of what you need to do is, like, I could see you, if you bake this into cornbread, I think that'd be just really, really interesting. As a hot sauce, I just don't really feel like this works super well. It's not particularly hot, and like I don't know where it's supposed to go. Like trying to find. So we have Mexican food. I didn't like it there. Pizza. No. Like, why would I put street? No. Breakfast foods. No. Wings. Wings I haven't tried yet, but I don't like this sauce well enough on its own, I don't think, for that to work. I have been surprised with wings before, but it's so thick and sludgy and pasty. I just don't see that being the case. Sandwiches. Again, like, where are you going with this, right? Mexican street corn is meant to be a thing unto itself. It's not meant to be put into sandwiches, for instance. And trying to appropriate that flavor, like I have reservations when they try it with snack foods, because I don't think it works particularly well there. I mean, I think it really, things could be their own things. But if you were to make a sauce with roasted corn and chipotle as the two main stuff, I think that actually has a lot of merit. And I really kind of wish this was closer to that. But as it is, like I said, this is just a version of sort of, I guess, not quite pureed, but kind of close version of basically a version of Mexican street corn, for whatever that's worth. And so flavor-wise, it's not bad. It is, this sort of locks you into one way of having Mexican street corn, I think is kind of the issue as well. Like, my Mexican street corn tastes nothing, not even close, nothing like this. Mine is definitely more pepper, queso, corn. Because I like pure flavors a lot. It's not as busy as this. Taste-wise, this is okay. It is too garlic forward. Texture-wise, I don't like the texture actually of this. It clumps. It doesn't like to smooth out. So I'm not really a fan of sauces that are this thick. In general, not specific to this. Like I said, heat is pretty well non-existent. In fact, this one I'm actually giving a 0 to because there's no discernible heat to it at all, which is, Chipotle is supposed to be twice the heat of regular jalapenos. And there's almost no heat. There's more heat putting it with this than there was just in the sauce itself. And that's a cheat, right? Buldak uses extract. It's a cheat. I get it. But, I mean, I think it still kind of has to be said. So, I guess it was a worthwhile attempt. I would definitely key this a lot differently, though. And I think this is one where it is sort of predicated on your specific taste for Mexican street corn, and we'll just leave it there. So that was the Volcanic Peppers Corny Chipotle hot sauce. Now go forth in peace to serve the flame.